Okay, we are recording the first episode of Impostor Syndrome. That's going to be the name of the podcast. I'm going to give a little background first on me because this is my podcast. And this is Kevin, by the way.
Hey guys, what's going on?
My name's Mike Kelly. I'm a film composer, and I do just all bunch of music and shit. The kind of the point of this podcast is to talk to different entertainers, artists, whatever, particularly in film because that's where I'm from, and just get their perspectives on what they do, what issues they face in their work. So yeah, this is gonna be awkward. I'm not used to hearing myself on a microphone, so I'm gonna be talking a little weird this episode. So we're just gonna roll with it.
He's the next John Campea, ladies and gentlemen. The next John Campea right there.
Most people even know who he is.
If you don't know who he is, look him up.
Yeah,
that's Mike Kelly, the next Mike. That's him right there.
Okay, and so also laying out the ground rules. I personally will not talk about my personal life. I'm gonna avoid any hairy topics like politics, religion. But the guest, you can do whatever you want. Just be prepared to dig your own grave. This is gonna be pretty live. I don't want to edit these at all. Unless you give away some secret about a film you're working on that you're really not supposed to. Like if you break an NDA, then maybe I'll edit it. But for the most part, I'm handing you the news.
Okay. So, well, I'll tell you guys something too. I'm going to keep it strictly.
Introduce yourself. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Kevan Ali. I am a film director and a writer, and sometimes I edit. I've been doing this since I'm 16. I'm 26 right now, going on 27. And I'm excited to be on Mike's first episode for his podcast. I've been doing short films since I was really young. The reason I got into filmmaking was because I watched Star Wars when I was 12 through some friends, some neighbors, and it kind of inspired me to explore this avenue. As I went down from 16 to now, I've encountered a lot of situations, things that have really got me more in depth with filmmaking. And now it's just, I'm excited. I'm working on something that I hope I can talk to you guys a little bit about today.
Okay, so talk about that thing.
Okay, so if you haven't heard, or if Mike, if you haven't seen on social media, we have a new sci-fi thriller short film called Misidentity. Misidentity, it tells a story about a young woman who wakes up in a mysterious place, and the only way she can escape is by finding her identity. That's her greatest weapon. For the past year and a half, since the end of 2017, I've been developing this movie with a lot of people in the industry, people that work on networks, people that work on feature films, and we've come to the point now where we just launched our Indiegogo campaign for $35,000. And with that, we have a great cast. One person in particular that I'm very happy to bring on board is one of my favorite actors since I was a young kid. His name is Lester Spate. Lester Spate is an actor, producer, and director in the business, and he's been in a lot of shows and video games. Some of you may have seen, some of you may not have seen. He's been in Gears of War, Transformers, My Wife and Kids, and he's very notably famed for the Terry Tate Office linebacker commercials. So Mike here has helped us out in a part in composing a soundtrack for our Indiegogo video, which you guys could check it out. I think he's going to leave a link in the description. You guys could all see it.
Well, actually, am I allowed? You said I can't release that yet, right?
You can put the link in the description. Yeah. No, not the song. Oh, not the
Yeah.
song yet, because until we get, everything is finished, then you can put it out there. But you could hear his piece in the Indiegogo video. It's about 3 minutes long. You'll see Lester talking about it. You'll see myself talking about it. And then my co-creator, who unfortunately won't be able to join us right now, his name is Benjamin Marina. And he and I, set out on this journey to make a film that's a mini blockbuster in 12 minutes that can really grab the eyes and ears of the industry on what we're trying to do and promote a message that, we want to have more people of color behind mainstream sci-fi franchises. That's the main topic of the discussion that we had for this movie. So from 2017 to now, we really assembled a great cast, a great crew, and we're just now going through the funding phase from now to April 14th to raise $35,000. And just this morning, we just reached 3,000, and we've been doing the campaign for about 4 days now. So everything's coming along.
Good. I'll be honest, I intended this to be a very free-flowing kind of podcast. I didn't really prep any questions. I mean, we know each other well enough that it shouldn't be an issue. I might prep something for future guests that maybe I don't know well. We should be able to just kind of shoot the shit. Also, yes, you're allowed to curse. You're allowed to say whatever dirty words you want to say.
So are we still going live right now, or are you gonna edit this
out? I'm not intending to edit anything from the point of record.
Oh, okay. So this is okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Then that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not live streaming. I might add that in the future, but I don't know. It's my computer's gets kind of taxed with stuff like that. And also, because we're dealing with filmmakers that might be under NDAs, I want to have that wiggle room just in case they fuck up. So, I don't know. I probably won't do the live streaming for that reason. So.
Okay. So, I mean, I told you guys a little bit about myself. I mean, Mike, I just want to figure out how you went from postgraduate of high school to being a full-time film composer. What did you do to get to where you're at now?
I am not a full-time composer.
Well, not yet.
One day. That's the dream.
Yes.
Yes. No. The guest is interviewing me. That's good because the audience has to get to know me first, anyway.
Right.
Well, my background comes from rock and metal, as you can probably tell. I'm a metalhead.
That's some luscious locks, man. Some luscious locks. Oh, here we go.
He's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline, baby.
No, I use Thoriel.
So we're messing with that now.
Yeah. So I had a weird trajectory. Out of high school, the first thing I did was I went to school to learn how to build guitars and do repairs. And I did some of that on the side, like repairs and stuff. I never had a wood shop, so I could actually build one outside of school. I built one, but it was a guitar that wasn't a style I would normally play, so I gave it to my dad. But then after a couple of years of pursuing that, I realized that it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And then I started refocusing on becoming a film composer. And got my first film in 2013. It was called Love Express, which I did with Patrick Cheng-Ji Hao, which I will hopefully have him as the next guest. God, this latency is pissing me off. This is very raw, people.
I can't even hear anything. I mean, I can hear you. I don't hear any latency or any lags or anything like that.
No, you're not going to. It's only on me because I'm talking into the microphone, and then that's going through the system to my headphones. So I probably need to adjust my buffer settings later. That's technical
Mm,
shit that nobody else needs to worry about. And
hmm
if I seem a little distant, that's just because I'm dealing with technical issues. Yeah. So anyway, I will probably have Patrick on soon. I'm gonna ask him. He's the first director I ever worked with, so he should be on here. Is that me or you?
I think that's me. Don't mind that.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Okay. Um. So yeah. Um. That's more about the podcast. Just and it's pretty open ended as far as what entertainers can come on. Like I said, it's going to be mostly filmmakers, but I'm probably going to bring all my roommates on, one of which is a boxer, which is completely different from everything else, but fuck it. Um, yeah, so that's the basics about me. I've done a couple films since then, all short films. Uh, I put out a solo album 3 years ago, so it's called Remnants. You can go listen to it, buy
Mm.
it, preferably. But if you want to steal it, I really don't give a shit. Nobody makes money off of records anymore.
Right.
So I guess give a little more background, like about your films, what you've worked on.
Yeah. So I guess I told you guys since the age of 12, I really got inspired to do film. Initially, I was going to be. I didn't know what I was going to be when I was growing up in high school. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a pharmacist. I wanted to be a doctor. And then when film never happened originally, film sprung on me when I was in community college because I wanted to try pharmacy, and I went to pharmacy school for orientation, and I had no idea what they were talking about, and I just felt out of my comfort zone when I was there. So, my father gave me a really good solid advice. He said, choose what you really want to do and not what you have to do. And I filmmaking just something that excited me. Star Wars excited me, so I took a chance, and took some basic courses. Did there, and then I went to Montclair State University. I went for an English degree with a minor in filmmaking because I wanted to learn how to perfect and tell really great stories. And throughout my whole college career, I did about two short films. And my first film that I did was at a place called Manhattan Film Institute. So like famous actors and directors like Joe Ponciano, Chaz Palminteri, Tony Sparadakis, and some other big celebrities were teaching this 2-week program over the summer in the Hamptons. So I went there and did my first basically really professional looking short film called Do. Do was on a budget of $8,000, and basically I had a lot of people that I worked with that were in the industry that helped me, gain all the assets and knowledge of what a filmmaker that works for the networks or for the studios does for any of their productions. So when I made Do, I got a great cast, got a great team, and then I got a guy named he's a famous actor. His name is Martin Henderson, who basically kind of mentored me. He was my assistant director on how to direct actors and get emotions that you want to portray on the screen. So I did this film, came out 2-3 weeks later, or no, a couple of days later. I'm sorry. And then after we got that out, I started spreading that short film around, and it got me some on a show as a script supervisor. It's got me on a feature film as a second assistant director, and being through those two avenues, it's been very helpful. It's opened my eyes to how production works. And then I continued making another short film that I worked with Mike on called Compromise. Now, Compromise was a military drama short that I'm always fascinated with video games. I think video games have a lot of influential potential for great stories, and if you're looking at like sci-fi games like The Witcher or Mass Effect, they want to transport you into that world. So, video games has influenced me a lot. Movies is my number one. They've always influenced me from the get go when I was small. But, I made compromise kind of like Call of Duty meets Law and Order. I wanted to dabble with that idea and try to push, experimental stuff into my films, like doing a half first person shooter film mixed with a half traditional crime drama film. And you could see that in the film. I just said film 3 times. That's how much I love film.
And it's not going to be edited. Everybody's gonna laugh.
I know. They're gonna be like, "Hey, how's the film going?" Well, the film's going good. I love the film. So no, but we made this. We made this short, and Compromise got a lot of attention. A lot of people wanted to see a second part. We were working on another one, and then after that, I kind of took a step back from directing for about 2 years. And I've been focusing on screenwriting, trying to make good stories, trying to do this, that. And then, 2017, I watched, a couple movies, and it sparked this idea for Miss Identity. And this is where I'm at currently. Miss Identity, started, as an idea, and then till now, well, we've taken a lot of steps, and I feel really confident in this film than my other past films because there's a lot of traction behind it. There's a lot of people involved in it. And I'm excited to see how it turns out. I mean, I have my vision down, and, I think that's where I'm at currently. Now, my future, hopefully after making this film or whatever, is to continue to direct, continue to write screenplays, and eventually land a network job or land a big time directing job. Who knows? It's just, I'm taking it step by step.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go about it. You don't want to get so hyper focused on one thing. Like, you gotta let it go with the flow. Just take whatever opportunity comes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I was gonna say that's the another thing too that I like to direct films is that when you watch a film, I don't want you to think that I want you to think that you're not watching just a typical film. It's like somebody like myself has the same ideas and mindsets as a regular director out there that could, when you watch it, you're like, oh, it could be anybody making this. But when you see somebody like me, a brown guy, they're like, oh, that's interesting. You're doing a film like this? Oh, I would never expect that. And that's kind of that gets me happy, is like when people don't think you can make a certain type of movie, like a horror film or a really intense drama, and they see that it's like not your typical director. It's just a brown guy that's making something like this that's on the same level as these other directors, and that's what makes me happy when people recognize that and see that.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll come to a future where that's not even something people think about.
Exactly. I mean, it's now everything that's conversations, and the way that the film industry is moving is certainly different than what it was 10 years ago, because now we have a lot of more people in color in the business that's doing a lot of films and stuff, and I love it. It's only going to get better.
Yeah. So the name of the podcast is Impostor Syndrome because, well, if you're a artist of any kind, you've experienced imposter syndrome. We all have it. I know even professional actors who've been doing it for decades have that.
So what is the definition of imposter syndrome?
I mean, I'm not gonna pull up Webster right now, but it's generally,
Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary.
A feeling of, oh shit, they're gonna find out I'm not really qualified to be doing this.
Right. Okay.
Like it's like, oh, they're gonna find out I'm a fraud, and and I get it every time I do a film or anything, period. So, can you speak on any experiences you have with
Yeah, I mean that's something that you're supposed to be expected to encounter. No matter what career that you're doing, people are always going to doubt you. It's never going to be an easy path unless you have, like a lot of money to your name, and that's something different. But you know, anybody that's trying to get into, especially the film business, everybody, I find that everybody tries to outdo other people just for the hell of it, and not everybody, but some people do. And I've encountered people that told me, you're never gonna make it in the film business. It's too hard. You're never gonna do it. You should just get a real job and think of something else. And I'm like, well, why do I have to do that? Why can't I do what I like? You know, or you don't have, or people would say, you don't have the vision to get, to put what you want on the screen. You don't know what to do. I've had people tell me they're like, you're just a beginner. You don't know anything about the business. I'm like, well, I can look up. There's something called the internet. I can research. I can study. I can see how things are made, and I can guarantee I can do something just as good as yours. And
Although,
that's the kind of
You also have to temper that though with it is important to, because a lot of people, especially younger, and I'm saying this not necessarily to you, but any younger person that's watching this and is trying to get into this industry, that's a good mentality to have. But also remember, just because you can Google something doesn't mean you actually know it.
No, yeah. I mean that's the thing too, is that now look what's happening now. There's a site called Masterclass. Masterclass has all these filmmakers and stuff, and you watch this, you're getting more experience, than you did in a classroom that's trying to teach this, because it's basically
Udemy too.
Yes.
I'll plug them. If you cannot afford college, go to Udemy. This is not sponsored, but if they want to sponsor me, go ahead. Because they have frequent sales where like their courses are like $12, and these are like $200-$300 courses.
Wow!
I went on a binge and spent like $80 last year. I haven't watched half of them because I'm too busy, but one day I'll get to them. And you can find it on everything. So, had to throw that in there.
There you go. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, and I encourage anybody that's getting into filmmaking, if they're young, if you're in your college years, stuff. The most important thing you need to worry about right now, is networking. Having a network of people that are in and out of the business, because you can make a good film, but if you really want to get into this business, you want to show it to people, you need to have a great network. That's half the reason why I'm making this movie, is because I have a network of people around me that I wanted to share my vision with and share my desire and goals with, and they believed in me, and this is why they worked on this project. I always mentor and talk to younger filmmakers that I know personally that are getting into this and they're starting to make films, and I always tell them, the best thing to do is to always create, and if you fail at it, you become even a better success than what you were before. Everybody's going to encounter failure, but it's how you get up from that failure that makes the difference. I'll tell you some examples. I made some shorts where it never got through editing. I was just so dissatisfied with it that, oh, 1 second, I got this noise going on in the background. Hang on.
Awkward silence.
All right, I'm back. Yeah. I didn't want to mess up the audio here with this noise, but the thing is that I've had a lot of shorts that I've edited that never got to the screen. Never got to the screen because
hundreds of songs that never got released.
But you know what I'm saying is that once you've done it so much, and once you've messed up, you become a better person. You avoid those mistakes on your next production or your next song or your next report. It doesn't matter what you're working on. Once you've made mistakes, that's it. That gives you a big learning curve, and it makes you become a better person because you're more prepared for the next situation that you're coming into. I mean, Misidentity is a culmination of a lot of mistakes, a lot of successes that I've done, and I wanted to push my level of directing to the next step with this film. You know, I feel very confident. If you were to tell me, oh, you're making a film like this 5, 6 years ago, I would feel so uncomfortable because I've never made mistakes. I never made successes. And now going through trial and error, you know, it's made me a better person. And that's
Yeah.
what I encourage you guys, you know, if you're getting into filmmaking, if you make mistakes, if you fail, don't give up. You know, it's only gonna, you know, make you learn and be more smarter and be more prepared for your next project so that it will be a success. That's the thing.
Now, I just want to point out, he said you'll learn to be more smarter, which is bad
No,
grammar.
yes,
So,
I know.
calling him out.
You learn to be better and
There
smarter.
we
That's what I
go.
meant. That's what I
There
meant.
we
Yes,
go.
that's what I meant. But that's the same thing I can attest for you, Mike. Is that you and I, you know, have worked together for a good amount of years, and we've also been through trial and error when making, you know, content for, you know, media. And we're at a point, you know, like when we made this soundtrack for Miss Identity, you know how I think, and I know how you think, and you know, you're able to come up with something right off the bat that can appeal, like, you know, really get people in, like, influence into this film. You know, it's really, really cool. I mean, I've showed the people the soundtrack. People loved it. You know, they said this sounded really. What we tried to do with this is we wanted this song to sound a mixture of different things. And given Mike's background with music, he knows exactly how to put the pieces together and really captivate audiences, especially with something like this. That's a huge undertaking to pull off. But you know, every single, even this is a lesson for everybody. Every single piece of filmmaking is very important. You can't overlook one thing and just think that's going to be fine. You know, from your pre-production to your production to your post-production, you have to make sure you're hitting all the necessary tasks to pull off a successful film. And from everything from music, and I, you know, Mike could definitely elaborate on this. That I'm very to the T and to the point of what I want to hear when I hear a soundtrack for, especially for a film like mine. Mike and I would go back and forth and say, "Hey, let's do another one, but add some more things in it." Mike's just like, "Okay."
And a lot of times I just ignore him and just do whatever I want.
Exactly. But you know, it's cool is because Mike's been a really close friend of mine. He's one of my best friends, and you know, he understands where I'm coming from as a filmmaker and a creative. That it has to sound a certain way, that it has to appeal to people, and yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I did encounter people that would, you know, give me flack, but it's the main thing that you want to do is to, you know, you have to have thick skin. You have to get up and keep fighting the good fight. You know, if you want to get into this business, you want to get into this career, it's not going to be an easy, you know, run in the park. You're definitely going to encounter people that doubt you. You're going to definitely encounter people that give you obstacles. It's just that you can't be fazed by it and keep making better films going forward and avoiding mistakes that you made in the past.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing I want to add, it's kind of ties into what you were saying about when we work together.
right.
It's very important that no matter what your role, I mean, I'm speaking on this as a composer, but you're an actor, you're a gaffer, whatever. I don't know what a gaffer is, but I know it's the thing I see on the credits.
Don't say anything. Just keep your mouth shut.
All right, keep your secrets. But whatever aspect of the film, of the project, you have to throw your ego out the door and have the focus be, I'm serving the director's vision. That's like so important because everything's going to be a problem if it's not there. And inversely, the director needs to have the same mentality for his crew.
Exactly.
So don't think if you're going to come in, you want to be a director, you can be like a tyrant.
A hard ass.
No, you gotta treat your crew like they're your boss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing too, is that even with actors, working with actors, you know, don't pull a typical director that doesn't know how to act. You'll say, "Oh, give me something more faster. Give me something more intense." You know,
Are we referencing a certain famous director here?
Yes.
George
Yes.
Lucas.
Even though I love him to death.
I'm just saying, I love George Lucas to death. We're only quoting the cast of Star Wars.
If you listen, you need to have a good rapport with your actors. You have to treat the actors, you have to give them the respect. You have to give them the responsibility to carry out your dialogue, to carry out the actions that you wrote in the script. You can't be, too bossy, too nitpicky, because it'll make them doubt themselves. When I work with actors, I always try to put them in a certain situation or remind them of a feeling that can get them to evoke the emotion that I'm trying to say on the screen. And that's, hold on, my camera just went off. There we go. That's the thing that I try to do, and it makes my actors, by evoking certain emotions and evoking certain situations they've been through, to help portray a really, really solid performance. That's something a lot of people. I've worked on sets before. I worked on short films where I've seen directors saying, "Oh, that's good, but you can do it again, but do it a little bit differently." And it's like, that's not enough to to give these guys the confidence to really perform. You basically advise them, but you don't advise them as a boss. You advise them as, okay, do this, do that. I'm sorry, my phone keeps doing this. I don't know. Okay. Do this, do that. It doesn't work. Just try to make them feel comfortable. Try to make them, give them the keys to deliver the performance that you want to see, and trust in them. If you don't have trust in your actors, then you're not going to get a good performance. You need to trust in them and let them deliver the lines. And if they want to even do some, if they want to go off on their own and add a line or two, what they think about, since they're coming from the character, let them try it,
So, for somebody who's coming in trying to be a first-time director,
right?
I've never directed a film, but I can only imagine how stressful of a position it is, because you're in charge of everything.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you, my first film that I made was in high school. Yeah, I made a short film. A little short film. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a camcorder. Was at my neighbor's house. I directed this little short, and I didn't know what to do. And what I started doing was I started looking at, YouTube videos of like short films and like, how do they do it? And you see, like, I was under the impression that when you did a film, you would do everything in one take. That's how like novice I was. I thought I was everything in one take, and I was 15 at the time, so I had the camera rolling. So every time we messed up, we redid the whole thing again, and my friends got mad at me.
There actually is. I've had some of those pitfalls with recording too, but it's a little different with music.
Right, right.
There actually is a Russian film that was shot all in one take. It's I can't remember the name of it. Maybe if I can figure it out, I'll link it in the description. But it was like some ghost story, and it's like somebody, like, it's all these vignettes within a party or something, and it's one shot.
Right.
And I think why am I blanking? It's like the most famous director of all time. Whatever. Somebody else had one.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just want to jump in here because we tried to do. All right, so when I was 15, that wasn't my first film. My first film was actually when I was 11 years old, and that I think I told you about this.
No, you didn't.
Okay, so after I saw Star Wars, I felt compelled to recreate the first scene from the original Star Wars when the stormtroopers enter the ship and they're taking over everything, and the princess is trying to escape. So I didn't know why I did this, but yeah, I'm glad I did. So I came up with this idea. And I talked to one of my neighbors who was like 4 years younger than me, and I was like, "Hey, can we make a Star Wars movie in your house?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was so excited. He told his parents. His parents like, "Yeah, that's cool." So I really got to the director mode right here. I was like, how the hell are we gonna pull this off? So we started doing rehearsals, right? And keep in mind, these are people from 10 to 14 to different ranges, right? And um, I had to figure out, like, how we're gonna do the lasers. So what we did some funny stuff. We took some super soakers, and we took food. We took a lot of like a huge gallon of water, and took food coloring dye and put red in it, and put in the red for the blasters, and we put green, so the green for the good guys, red for the bad guys. So,
Actually, you know, that's pretty clever.
You know, well, here's the crazy thing. I think my friend's parents were so mad at us because I was shooting on my camcorder and I was behind. So we had a long hallway, and at the far end was a door, and coming out from the door was like the shape of the hallway was like coming like this, like this way out, right? So the door was right here, and the hallway was like this and that. So on the other side from that hallway was a staircase. So we had my friends and their siblings like crouched down with the super soakers aimed out at the door, and I can't remember. I can't believe we did this. So their mom was downstairs, and she just got home from work, and I had a recording, and so when I said action, you know, and then the door would open, and we were starting shooting all over the walls. The walls got stained, you know, and then yeah. And we had dramatic deaths, so everybody was flying. We broke like those. You remember those pumps that had the waters for the pools that you would shoot it out? So we had that. People were getting soaked. So I got soaked. The camera got messed up a little bit, you know. And we did dramatic deaths. So we tried. This was funny because we were shaking the house because the amount of times we fell on the ground, the amount of times that we tried to do a funny death, and it's like that. If you ever seen that YouTube video, it's like the most dramatic death. And you see that one guy get shot like a billion times. Yeah, he's like, ah! You know, he does that for like 20 times. So
I love how you can clearly see him gripping the ketchup packet.
Yeah, it's like so funny. So we did that, and let's just say like it was fun while we did it, but we'll never do that again. And
I think you should recreate it.
I can
in the same house.
Now I can do it. I just have to see if I get the parents' approval now. So, you know,
do you have that film?
No, I lost that. That camcorder is gone. I wish I did. And I'm gonna, listen. That. I'm gonna try to find that. Maybe it could be somewhere in my basement. I don't know. But I mean, that was the first inkling moment. I'll tell you guys right now. The first inkling moment that I had about being a director. I had fun doing it. I didn't stress about, you know, how am I going to do this and stuff like that. We just rolled and we just did that. I even did like mini lightsaber battles. Like we would all have we would all have lightsabers, and we would all try to be like the council and all that stuff. And we had one person play Anakin, one person play Obi-Wan, and I didn't get into Star Wars till episode 2. Episode 2 came out. For episode 1, I never watched, and then after episode 2, yes, I know I was young. Okay,
I was pouring out the womb.
Listen, my parents, my family has never seen Star Wars. I just recently got my dad to watch The Force Awakens, and that's the first Star Wars he's seen, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't I watch these earlier?" You know, I'm like, "Come on!"
They get a pass because they're immigrants.
Exactly. If you guys don't know, my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, and that's my background. So yeah, they never saw that growing up. But when I saw that, I became a huge Star Wars fan. I went to the episode 3 release in the theater. I can still remember it to this day that I was in there and I was like the third in line, and in front of me was a little kid in a Yoda costume going like a Tusken Raider the entire time. And then I had a kid in a Chewbacca mask. That was like, I can't do the roar. I can't do the roar. But he was doing it like,
you know what? That might be a new thing I require every guest to do is their best Chewbacca. So
that's all I can do. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. I can't do that. I can't do that at all.
In fairness, let me try. No.
Hey, if I do, I sound like a drunk yodeler, so it's not even good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yodeling already sounds kind of drunk.
Yeah, I know.
I just completely insulted our Swiss fan base.
I love you guys. He's only kidding. He's only kidding. Don't beat him up now.
Eluveity's a great band.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw that, and I loved it. And then I watched the originals, and it really wasn't it really didn't have. It had a really big impact, and then one game that I bought that I played religiously. I'm not talking about like a day or two. I played this every time I came home. I played this anytime I would go to my friend's house. I'd bring my Xbox with me. I'm talking about the original Xbox with Star Wars Battlefront. That's the OG game of video games. Yeah. I played the Halos. I played the Call of Duties. I played the Battlefields, but you could never compare that to Battlefront back in the day. Battlefront back in the day was amazing. It's awesome.
Battlefront 2. I never had Battlefront 1 for some reason.
You did? I remember this. I got Battlefront 1, and I would always bring it to my friend's house, and I would always play. What map did I play on it? I played Renvar. I played Renvar Citadel, and I remember they have a AT-AT Walker on the outskirts of the map, and I would always run and jump in it and just blow people. They had the Ragnar effects, so when you blow somebody, they got sky high. It's so funny. So, that
was a great game.
Oh man, I had some good moments. Another one was I played on Bespin, right? And the Bespin map had the 2 tunnels. So I was always the rebels, and I always versus the Empire. So I had a second where Darth Vader would come in, because this is the one we couldn't control the Jedi. Darth Vader would come after me, and I would lure him to like the edge of the Bespin platform and throw a grenade down, a detonator, and he flies off into it and dies. So I'm like, yes, I got the kill. Now I can kill everybody.
Yeah, people. I'm sure like younger people are watching this and like, why would I care? That's not funny. But if you didn't play the first Battlefront, you do not understand how terrifying it was when a hero or villain came out. It was, it was madness.
and that's how ancient it was, because you couldn't even run in the game. You only had a walking speed.
Yeah, they fixed a lot in 2. Like a lot.
I tell you what, before episode 3 came out, right? They had a demo. I still have this demo. I've never opened it. I've kept it near and dear to my heart. This is a little demo. I was subscribed to a gaming magazine, and they gave me a short demo of Battlefront 2 before episode 3 came out. So I played Battlefront 2, the demo, and I was obsessed. I was like, oh my God. And I kept this demo. So every time I was bored, I played the demo until the game came out. So, and then when the game came out, I was always, I got to find this. I was always Mace Windu, because I did a Photoshop picture, and I had it was, what was it? It was basically one of those pictures where you can put yourself in the frame. And the only thing that can match my skin complexion was Mace Windu. So I put my face in the frame, and he was going like this, and he had a bald head. So now the circle is now complete, where I actually do have a bald head now. So now I can pull up a cosplay.
Was the caption, "May the Force be with you, motherfucker"?
Yeah, he's like, yes. No, it was, what was it? I don't even remember. It was fucking hilarious. People saw me. It's like, oh my God, bro. Wait, imagine if you actually went bald. I'm like, well, now 20 years later, I am. So
actually, now that I think, when I look at myself, I kind of look like Obi-Wan in episode 2 now.
Yeah, you do.
Space mullet.
Can you do any Star Wars impressions?
No.
I used to do a good Emperor. I used to do a really good Emperor. I can't really do it anymore. I could give it a shot,
Training is complete.
I gotta really get no, your training is complete. Like,
it's complete.
It's complete.
You gotta get Sam Witwer to do it.
Yeah, he's. I tell you, man, he's awesome. I love him. I would recommend, if you're a Star Wars fan, you might give me 5 for this, Mike. Go see Star Wars Resistance. It's out. It's a TV show. It's really good. It's really good. Don't believe the naysayers.
I was waiting for enough people to say it's good to watch it, because that first trailer, I was like, ugh.
No, listen, the trailer looked really. The trailer looked really, really goofy in the beginning, but when you watch it, it's not what you think it is. It's very. Tomorrow is the season finale of season 1. I gave it a chance and I loved it. I saw some New Republic stuff. I mean, this is for the hardcore Star Wars fans out there that keep thinking that it's not good. It's good. You know, that's a lot of.
And that's what happened with Rebels too. It was very. At first, I was like,
yeah, exactly.
The animation was kind of not as good as Clone Wars, and it felt very kiddie. But once I really got into it, it got great. That was a great show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I watched it too. I watched every episode. When they got James Earl Jones involved, and that's when I was like, okay. And then they got the original Emperor in the last season. You know, that's even. Yeah, I mean, like, imagine what they're gonna do next. I mean, I hope in the Mandalorian that we're gonna see Sabine and Ahsoka and here's the thing is that Dave Filoni is directing the first episode, so I mean, I hope. I mean, you would think, you know, if he's directing something, he may have a little.
I don't think they're gonna incorporate that stuff, only because it's a different audience. They're going to be trying to reach the Game of Thrones watchers who don't have the background. And there's so much history with Sabine and Thrawn and all that stuff. It's too much to cram into the 10 episodes that they're going to have in The Mandalorian. I suspect that they're planning another animated series. I just don't know when.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. You know, I mean, Lucasfilm was always 10 steps ahead of the game in terms of what they want to put out next. I mean, they were developing the first season of Resistance when they just finished. I'm guessing they just Last Jedi. The hell? No, Rebels. They already started working on that. Say again?
Oh no.
I said, yeah. I mean, they're always way ahead. I mean, they could be on season 3 of Resistance for all I know. I just want to know how this is going to end for the first season and what's going to happen next season. You know, that's something that's really cool that I really enjoy, and people need to check it out. There's a lot of people still doubt it, you know. But never underestimate anything Star Wars related. It could really surprise you.
Yeah, because even if it gets kind of bad, it can always come back. There's so much that can be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these shows are. They develop over time. You know, it's not going to just be a certain tone in the beginning. You know, it's going to take turns and twists. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I never watched Game of Thrones until last year, and I'm in the mid season of season 2. But I even watched The Punisher. I started watching The Punisher on Netflix. Holy cow, that is a good show. I mean, both are good shows. Game of Thrones is phenomenal. But
so you're only on season 2?
Yeah, I haven't really had time to really watch. I know.
You gotta like stop working on Miss Identity and just get all caught up because the new season starts April 14th. HBO, give me ad money.
Oh yeah, yes. Sponsor HBO. If you're looking at this, put a little ad for Game of Thrones season 8 right in the middle of the thing.
People pay me.
And so, the girl that's playing what was this? The Stark. Which one of the Starks? The Sophie Turner's playing which Stark again?
Sansa.
That's Sansa. Yeah. That's how novice I am because I haven't gotten that far in this whole show. But I've been dabbling with some different shows. I just started watching Lost in Space for the first time and The Expanse.
I did want to check that out.
Lost in Space is really cool. I really like the concept. I haven't really gotten into it yet. I just started watching it. I mean, nowadays I don't really get time to watch TV unless I'm going on. You know, if I get an actual downtime, like I'm always behind this movie. I'm behind, other things that I'm working on right now. I mean, there's a lot of good shows. I mean, like now we're living in a time where, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to have DirecTV. I don't have DirecTV anymore. I have PlayStation Vue. Like it's crazy how technology is really evolving at a fast rate than we could ever imagine. Like we can now watch TV on our phones now, which is something you couldn't even think about 10 years ago. You watch big.
I can't believe people are still paying for DirecTV or cable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still watching DirecTV, stop it. Stop doing that to yourself. That's
You're
$100 and something
wasting
a
so
month.
much money. Although
Yeah.
then again, there's so many subscription services popping up now that it could stack up just as bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, look at the way the movie industry is going too. I mean, Netflix is cranking out all these movies with big stars, and that's something that I would never expect Netflix to do 5-10 years ago. I mean, I just saw they put out a new film called is it the Triple Frontier?
Triple Frontier. I gotta watch that. I'm probably gonna watch that tonight because that cast.
Yeah, I told you I watched anything Oscar Isaac stars in. I really watch it. Oscar Isaac really delivers a compelling performance. This is not a sponsorship. This is not me. Like I'm really really picky when it comes to like really good performances. And Oscar Isaac I've seen, and in any movie that he was in, phenomenal.
Even Annihilation, where he's barely in it, and most of the time he's borderline comatose, he's still amazing.
Yeah, I like him. I've been a big fan of Chris Pine. I want to give that show that he starred in. What is it called? Oh my God, it's on the networks. He's starting in this new show.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I've heard about it on YouTube. I saw him talking about it, but
I am not up to date on any of this stuff anymore.
You need to be listening to Collider every time you take a drive, or listening to the John Campea show every time you take. I've been listening
I do, but not as much lately. Yeah.
I started listening to The Rule of Two. The Rule of Two is what's that guy's name? Was it Riley? Riley's in that.
It's Mark Riley and Frosty.
And Fernandez. Well, which one is Fernandez? I don't know what his nickname is.
Oh no, Mark Fernandez. That's right.
Mark Fernandez. Yeah, I really like both of them. I like listening to them. I always love me some good Christian Harloff.
Oh yeah.
But I miss Mark Ellis, man. Mark Ellis.
Me too. I really miss that core. For people that don't know this, Collider is a movie YouTube channel, and they have this one thing called Jedi Council. I know this whole episode is about Star Wars. Just deal with it. We're nerds. But yeah, they had this core group of. I think they were all comedians. Maybe not John Campea, but Mark and Christian are both comedians.
See, I used to listen to them when they were first called AMC Movie Talk. Movie Talk for Movie News. And then I remember John Campea was like, "Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie show on the planet."
I know, I miss him.
I can say that so many times.
Yeah.
And then when I started watching the John Campea show now, and he got that other co-host, and the girl, I feel like I was watching Collider, the old Collider again.
My favorite Campea moment, barring none, is when they announced that Ben Affleck was no longer the director of the Batman. His freak out was beautiful.
Anything DC related. What are you doing, Warner Brothers? You're screwing it up. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's great. The other greatest moment on Collider history is anytime Michael Rappaport's on.
Oh my gosh.
Especially the King Kong thing, where he just starts going off about the director of King Kong. and then there's another moment in the same episode with Schnepp. Rest in peace, Schnepp. Where,
rest in peace.
Yeah, where Schnepp is talking about how he's really into sci-fi, and Michael Rappaport's like, "Oh no shit, you're into sci-fi? I never would have fucking guessed."
Was Schnepp the one that did the comic book videos? He did all the comic books. Yeah.
He was a quintessential nerd. Like he had very crazy hair, glasses. And,
I loved him. I loved him a lot.
He was great.
I remember he posted up something, and I sent him an Instagram comment on it, and I said, "Dude, keep up the hard work." And this is like a year or 2 years ago, and he liked it. I was like, "Oh my god, Chad sent my Instagram comment, yes, yeah."
Yeah,
I'm
he
thanking you
also
so hard.
he directed one of the greatest animated TV shows of all time, Metalocalypse. Have you ever watched that?
I've seen snippets of it. I haven't really watched full episodes, but I'll watch it. I'll
Yeah.
definitely put that.
It's especially great if you're a big metalhead because there's so many Easter eggs, like tiny little things that, like, if you're watching with me, I'll be giggling. And you're like, "What the fuck is that?" Yeah. I was actually a little sad yesterday or the day before, when the Endgame trailer came out. Because the first thing I thought was like, "Oh man, Snap's not gonna get to see this."
I know.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody is like talking about that. I mean, between Endgame, I think this year for movies is going to be a huge one. I mean, look what we have coming out. We have Endgame. We just had Captain Marvel. We're having Shazam. We're having Hellboy. I mean, Hellboy is.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. I am. I really like the guy from Stranger Things. So
yeah, I love that line at the end of the Red Band trailer. It's like, "I don't think this is gonna work because I'm a Capricorn and you're fucking nuts."
What else? We have 3 big Disney movies coming out: Lion King, Aladdin, and Toy Story.
Was great.
No, it was good. It really redeemed it. A lot of people had, they were unsure or uncertain how it was gonna come out, but now with this trailer, everyone's like, yeah, my inner 5-year-old is back again. My inner 7-year-old is back.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I'm going into it little, I'm tempering my expectations because I wasn't in love with Beauty and the Beast, but yeah.
Well, do yourself a favor. Don't watch Aladdin the animated before you go in that, because once you go in that, your mind's gonna. No, I'm telling you.
I've been tempted to lately.
I watched Beauty and the Beast before I saw the live action thing, and I kind of was a little nitpicky. I don't want to do that. I haven't watched. Yeah.
I think the problem with Beauty and the Beast was that's just the basic story doesn't translate to live action, because you start thinking about the ethics of it, and it's like, this is really fucked up.
I mean, listen, I'll tell you what. Out of all 3 Disney movies I'm excited for, Lion King takes the cake. I love Toy Story.
Yeah.
I love Toy Story. But Lion King, just the graphics, it's all animated and it looks so real. You have to you have to really think about, oh my god, man, it's like, is this real? I saw it and I was like,
it's animated movie.
It's all animated. Yeah, it's a CGI animated film. There's no doubt. I know that's going to win a lot of awards because of its visual effects and all that. But yeah, I grew up with Toy Story, but I watched The Lion King over and over again. Like when Mufasa passed away, I cried. I bawled out. I was soaked in tears.
I'm gonna say it because I'm a heartless bastard. That got me, but not nearly as bad as it gets everybody else. The Mufasa death.
Well, you know what? What's even hitting home even more for me was when he came back and revisited in the clouds, and that's when I was like, "Oh my god!" Oh,
I don't know why it just never hit me in the way that it affects everybody else. There's plenty of other movies that did, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a contrarian.
If I see that again, I'm gonna cry. I will cry so loud that everybody would have to shush me. That's how loud I'm gonna cry.
Just they're laughing at you. What are you doing? Crying?
No, yeah. I mean, besides that, you got Toy Story. I mean, I love Toy Story, right? That's gonna be crazy. And then episode 9. See, this is that's the thing. I really want to know what this title is. I want to know what the title is. Leaks are going all over the place as we're getting close to the celebration now. I want to see Hayden Christensen back as a ghost for Anakin. I haven't seen that yet.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either, but I think that come on, JJ. Come on, put him in there. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would like him to get some redemption, but
I mean, listen, I've always, I really want to see him. want to see them do. I highly doubt they're going to put Obi-Wan back in. I mean, we had the voice in The Force Awakens of Obi-Wan saying, "Rey, these are your first steps." We didn't get anything in Last Jedi. We'll definitely see Yoda again.
Yeah.
I want to.
No.
I think no. I think we will. I think we will. I think there's going to be a scene where Yoda appears in front of Rey. I think there's going to be a scene like that. I think there's going to be. I'm still putting my money that
after Last Jedi, I completely gave up trying to come up with predictions because
me too.
The way that movie left off, it really I'm a Last Jedi lover. There's a lot of controversy with that movie. I'm on the side of I like Last Jedi. So fuck you to everybody else. But although fuck you to all the people that went off on Kelly Marie Tran. You guys are assholes.
That's not right. That's not right at all to do that to somebody. She's an actress. She doesn't deserve that hate. You know.
Yeah. I gave up on trying to predict things because the way Last Jedi didn't really leave any open-ended questions in the way that Force Awakens did. I mean, it does to an extent, but there's nothing really to predict.
Yeah, well, hopefully JJ will. From what I'm hearing is that hopefully that he'll. This whole hearing that all over this, like you've probably seen it too, that they're course correcting the movie, they're retconning things and stuff like that. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, you know, there's set leak photos that they were apparently being posted on. I've seen a lot of it on MakingStarWars.net, and I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I'm more excited for The Mandalorian than for Episode 9, to be honest with you. I'm actually.
Not, but it's like 9 Mandalorian.
I don't know. The reason is that we get to see how the rebellion goes to the New Republic and how it's all built up, and hopefully that's what I want to see is a lot of New Republic stuff. What I personally wanted was to see how Rebel soldiers transition into the New Republic soldiers. Did they wear armor like the Stormtroopers or what have you? You know,
well,
we'll see
if they even have one, because in the books,
they did.
They dismantled the military.
It was the something the Concord or whatever, and they said that they're not going to be a non-military government unless they have to they have a small force, whatever. But still, I mean, I'd like to see.
I'm going to steer this a little bit because we've gone too far into the Star Wars, which is fine. I'm sure that'll be good.
You can skip this part if you don't want to hear some bullshit. So you know,
I'm going to heavily put Star Wars in the hashtags. Because so into this. We're actually at an hour, so
it doesn't even feel like
figure out a way to close this out.
So yeah, guys, I just want to say is that yes, first of all, Mike, thank you for having me on the show, and I'm honored to be the first guest. I don't have imposter syndrome yet, you know, but I'm just kidding. See what he does to me, guys. You got to take note of that. No, just kidding.
I'm just bringing to reality.
Yes, exactly. He has to keep me grounded. But I just wanted to ask everybody that yes, we're doing this movie Misidentity. We're doing a campaign for Indiegogo for $35,000. It's a lot, of money that we're trying to put into this. So far, we generated $3,000. And there's a lot of perks that come with this. If you check out the website, Michael will leave this link in the description. You'll have the chance to be an associate producer on the film. You can even have the chance to talk to Lester Spate on the phone. There's some cool incentives in for everybody. $1 goes a long way for us, and we really appreciate anything. Even if you can just share it around, we really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we're really pushing the boundaries in this new film that we're doing. I'm excited to get to start directing again, and this will be the first of many things from me personally to come forward for filmmaking wise. Okay, and one last thing. I'm stealing this from Cara Santa Maria's podcast called Top Gun. You should go listen to it. It's a good science podcast. Okay. She ends her what are you most
what keeps you up at night, and what are you most optimistic about? I'm gonna
Um,
rejigger her questions a little bit because it's called imposter syndrome. So
okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna ask what is your biggest insecurity that holds you back, and what do you think is your biggest strength that that what's your biggest strength? I'm gonna ask this
Uh,
to every guest.
biggest strength I could tell you is um, able to be personable, able to be um, confident, able to be visionary when the time is needed. When I say that, is like going into pre-production. How am I going to get this to production? How am I going to
You
get
have
it
a
from
clear
production
vision.
to production? Yes, exactly. And it's the not just being a tyrant or not being somebody rude, but being personable, being humble, and including others on your vision. This is not just a single trip to make the film. You need to have more than one person. You need to have a team. And if you know how to be in a team, you know how to be a team player and help other people out. This is going to be easier for you. Um, my insecurities is trying to push something too hard that it fails. There's a certain amount that you could put in for yourself, but if you do it excessively, you're not only exhausting your project, but you're exhausting yourself mentally and physically. And you can't do that. You have to take things one step at a time instead of trying to take like five things on at once. We were supposed to launch our Indiegogo, in December, but I didn't feel confident enough because I feel like I would have to take on 5 different tasks. So I pushed it off till where we just released it this week. And I feel so much more confident, more comfortable because I'm taking my time into something that I really, really love, and I don't want to rush it and make it a disaster. And directing is fun. Directing is pretty knowledgeable if you've been through it a few times. But if you are a new director, I encourage you make a lot of short films, short films, microfilms. Get experience for the camera. Get experience in talking to people in a work environment. If you haven't gotten a job, understand how people operate. Understand how people. You always have to be humble. Remember, it's personal skills and your actual directing skills if you want to be a director. You have to be very personable. You have to be very humble. You can't be rude. You can't be nasty. You just gotta, you're all in this together as a team. And by doing it by yourself, and trying to do the solo route, it's not going to work most of the time. It may work in a time situation depending, what the project is and all that. But yeah, I mean,
Okay. And I guess since this is the first episode, I'll answer the question too. For me, the biggest insecurity. Oh God, it's a lot. I am.
That's my biggest insecurity.
I am very overcritical of the perception of my character.
Okay.
Like if I feel like if somebody doesn't like my music, I couldn't care less. But if my character comes into question, I am a wreck.
I understand.
Yeah, and I would say strength. I mean, making music, but that doesn't count for the question. Oh. I would say I'm pretty reliable.
I mean, that's going. I just want to go back to your security. Is that's what you guys need to know is that if anybody doubts who you are as a person, that's your character, you should never give in to that. The only person that believes in you is yourself, and you can really, influence people in a positive way, no matter what you're creating, whether it's a film, a TV show, music, you are going to get people that's going to say, you can't do this, and you're just out there, man. You're just, I don't want to talk to you. And the thing is that you select who really cares about you, who doesn't care about you. And if you come into people that don't care about you, then that's the best thing. Don't even deal with them and move on. You'll find people that do care about you. And there's how many people in the world? There's like how many billions of people?
7 billion.
7 billion people in the world. Yes. 7 billion people. I
And
mean,
also, that's one thing I also want to point out. If you ever get some success and you start getting a big head, just remember that if you have 1 billion Instagram followers, there's still 6 billion other people that don't give
yeah.
a shit about you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's the thing too, is that you need to be humble. Humble is the key word. Do not stroke your ego. Do not stroke your pride. That's the things that you have to learn. And, if you're a new coming director, don't act like you know it all. Be opening to critical feedback. One people things that I've learned is that I can take constructive criticism really well because it makes me a better person and they care enough. But a lot of people don't, take that the way that you think. They would take it and be offended. If people give you constructive criticism and great and hard feedback, it's to make you a better person. It's for you to listen and understand where they're coming from. Don't just shrug it off. But if anybody makes fun of your character, ignore them and find people that actually care about you.
Well, take it. At least try to listen, because they might have a point, just in case.
Well, yes, but if they don't like you just because the reason they don't like you, then they don't deserve to be around
fuck them.
you. Exactly.
Okay,
You're caring about yourself.
So let's end it. So real quick, give your plugs.
Yes, so you can find me and you can find my film. I'm on Instagram at Kevan Ali, so it's Kevanali. I know my name's spelled differently, but it's pronounced the same way as you're spelling Evan with EVAN with Evan. That's how it is. So at Kevan Ali for Instagram. At Twitter, it's KEV_ALI. Facebook, Kev Ali. And for Misidentity, you can follow the film on Instagram at Misidentity Movie, Twitter Misidentity Film, and at Facebook Misidentity Movie. The Indiegogo, Mike's going to put down below. Please check it out. Anything can help, even if it's a share, $1 donation, doesn't matter. If you can help spread the word out there, it means a lot to us and my team, the cast crew.
All right, awesome, thank you. And you can find me. I'm gonna put all this in the underpants bar. Stealing that from Phil DeFranco.
You said underpants? Oh, okay,
that's
Captain.
A Phil DeFranco thing.
Oh my God.
Is it? Some YouTuber. Anyway, so I'll put all the info. You can find me at Mike J. Kelly filmcomposer.com. I know it's a mouthful. It's a terrible URL. It really is. On Instagram, you can find me as MJK Composer. I think it's the same thing on Twitter, Facebook, all that shit. I'm on there. I post guitar cover videos every Monday. This podcast, I think I'm gonna put up every Thursday, so I stagger my posting. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Can you do this before you leave? Just make this a tradition for your show. You got to do the hair flip. You got to do something. You got to do something crazy before you get off. It's a signature thing.
I need to make a theme song for sure. Maybe I'll make a theme song and then film myself doing something.
Well, give him a flick of your luscious locks for everybody to see before you're gone.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah.
Wait.
Right on, brother. Oh, here we go. We're busting out the guitar now. Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Woo! You have to do that every time you finish an episode. You have to do that. That's the code word. You have to play intense rock metal at the end and then close it out.
That's probably what the theme song will be, because that's the type of music I can compose the quickest. All right. Well, we will talk another time.
Thanks.
I will.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you. Good luck with the Indiegogo. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Okay. How do I stop recording?